I think you saw a lot of things today, and I'll try to sort of tie up all the points. Now, what we have been doing for the last 15 years, we started the journey with Aadhaar in 2009, is essentially unbundling all the technology stack that we needed, right? We realized that India was a country which was going to get digitized, a smartphone had just arrived. How do we look at really creating a technology architecture which allows many people to participate, which is inclusive, which is essentially designed for Indian conditions? And we began with Aadhaar, today 1.3 billion people, 80 million transactions a day, 5 million KYCs a day. So that has been a foundational thing. UPI, again, 13 billion transactions, 500 million users. We unbundled with the beacon and open networks. We now have a new form of e-commerce with ONDC and Namayatri. Has been a very important part of our success, that we unbundled and allowed more things to come together. Now, this was based on a very simple insight that in a country with low per capita income, that what you need to do is a very high volume infrastructure. So whatever we have built like Aadhaar or UPI is designed to do billions of transactions. And it's designed from day one, thanks to Pramod and Shrikant and others, to create this highly scalable architecture which allows you to go to this. So today we are talking about 13 billion transactions in UPI, and NPCI's stated goal is to go to 1 billion transactions a day. So that's the kind of infrastructure we have, and that's true about everything we do. And when you think about AI, we have to think of it the same way. It has to be very high volume. And along with high volume, we need to have another aspect of it, which is it has to be very low cost. We need to do frugal systems. You saw in the presentation by Pratyush that they're talking about delivering at 1 rupee per transaction. Now that's what we need. We need to be able to deliver very high volume at very low cost. Today, the reason why the vegetable vendor is using UPI is because when she gets paid 30 rupees, she gets the full 30 rupees. It's free for her. And that's why digital payments have taken off. So very high volume, very low cost. But at the same time, how do we deal with diversity? Because India is a very complex country, multiple languages, multiple use cases, multiple things. So we have to make sure that while we have a very high volume, low cost, it can't be a homogeneous experience. We have to make sure that it provides for diverse providers. And that's why the philosophy has been public rails and private innovation. Public rails, which are very high volume, very low cost, scalable to 1 billion people, works in real time and so on. But by allowing innovation at the edge, innovation in the market allows for all kinds of people to produce different kinds of use cases and different kinds of applications. We have seen this in payments. We have Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, Slice. So many people are there who are all providing different applications. And so this concept was high volume, low cost, diversity in production, producers because you have diversity in consumption. That has been the philosophy. What do you mean by an open access society? We want a society where nobody is constrained from achieving their aspirations. And we know that a large part of today's luck is where you're born, who you're born to, which part of the country you live in, and therefore you don't really have a completely open access society. So what we're trying to do here is use technology to create open access, to allow everyone to participate to the fullest way that they can. And therefore the only friction is motivation. If you're motivated, there should be no other friction in your life. And that's really the philosophy of what we're doing. So your aspiration is your achievement. And this is very important to create a society which goes from an informal society to a formal society. So we reduce friction to joining society by making sure that you can get an ID easily, a bank account easily, a mobile phone easily, and so on and so forth. And you encourage people to join society because once they join the digital economy, then the digital footprint of that activity can be used by them to get access to better credit, better health, or better education. And therefore they have an incentive to join the formal economy. And that's what you're seeing, massive amounts of people joining the formal economy and becoming part of society. And that's really what we are trying to do with technology. Now, when we talk about AI, most of the conversation is about LLMs and bigger LLMs, bolder LLMs, more GPUs, more compute. But really, there is a lot more to it. We saw the example of the Bharat diffusion using images. We have obviously code generation, we have scientific research, protein folding, acceleration of clinical research happening, new discovery of molecules. We are now finding, embodied AI, where the AI is in the robot or in the car. So there's all kinds of things happening, and we know that it all basically is on compute, but there are many, many diverse use cases happening. And we also know that while we do want to have very large models, when you actually want to deploy it, we need to have very small models. We saw examples of that with the AI in a box and so on. Now, the main thing is, for the first time, we have AI which has ability to create new things. Now, does that make them human? Not at all. They have, in very narrow areas, they are able to be creative. But the real value of AI is complementing the person with the AI, which is why we talk about People+ai. So the ideal world is where we use AI as a way to improve, as a force multiplier, but we use it as a force multiplier for people to use AI to improve their lives. So that's really what it's all about. And therefore, we think that the real success of this will be combining AI and amplifying human potential. And that's really what People+ai is all about. The ability of machines to learn is improving every day, it's getting better. But we always have to think about what is it that machines will learn to do better, and what is it that human beings can do to use those machines which do better. And that's something which I think is very important. We are already seeing people using AI in many innovative ways. But finally, it's about improving people's lives, about making things easier for them, about using machines that learn to do things for human beings that they can improve their lives with. The good thing now is that you don't have to start with a blank page ever, because you can always start with something which is generated and then build on it. If you're writing an article, you can get your ideas, then you can fine-tune the ideas with a chatbot, and you can then further come back to it. If you're an artist, you can do that with all the various products. So that means that the productivity of human beings, if used well, can lead to a lot of acceleration. I mean, I was talking to somebody who writes a column for one of the newspapers, and every 2 weeks he has palpitations because he has to deliver the column, in the next 5 hours or something. And he's very intelligently using, tools like Perplexity and all that to actually get the stuff for him, and then he's writing the article. So there are ways to do these things to use the power of AI for yourself. This is going to happen whether we like it or not. The change is upon us. So we can either choose to resist change or embrace change. And I, for one, believe that we should embrace change to make sure that we really have the value of what's going on. Now, what is very interesting is what we are doing in India. And we are doing 3 things which are all very important for national scale usage. One is we are building DPIs for AI, right? So we have built DPI for identity, we have built DPI for payments, we have built DPI for data. Yes, Aadhaar, UPI, account aggregator, and many others. Now we are building the DPI for AI, which means we are building the digital public infrastructure for AI. One example you heard about was the OCC, Open Cloud Compute, which is an infrastructure which will allow us to bring a lot of cloud providers into a common interoperable network, and anybody can discover them and use all their capacity, and therefore provide the compute and storage that you want. So that's a DPI infrastructure. But it is for AI, because AI will be the biggest consumer of compute. Another example is the work at AI for Bharat, where they have all the tools for data collection, because they know that if the AI has to be trained, we saw that with the Bharat diffusion stuff where Indian images are required. Similarly, if you want to provide DPI in Indian languages, you need actual samples from the field in India. And they have built the infrastructure where you go and collect thousands of hours of spoken data using volunteers and so on, which you can then feed into your models. And therefore, that's again an example of infrastructure. It's not specific to a language. They can use that to collect data for any language in the world. So both these are examples of digital public infrastructure built and for the specific purpose of AI. And then you have AI as a public good. So Bhashini infrastructure, Bhashini provides the actual objects for language learning. Or you saw the briefcase and Jan Ki Baat earlier in the day. They're actually providing AI as a public good. And then we talked about this concept of DPI to the power of AI. In other words, can you take DPI and amplify it with AI? And we have shown the example of Sesame, which the Setu and all have demonstrated. We saw the example of the language learning, which again is built on top of DPI and then amplified with AI. So basically, we have a unique infrastructure in India where we are building digital public infrastructure for AI. We are building a set of digital public goods for AI, and we are building on top of our existing DPI to the power of AI, and therefore accelerating the adoption of AI in India. And that's what this is really the unique wave that India is doing with AI, which is what gives us confidence that we can actually move very rapidly in this space. Now, we talked about unbundling, but now with AI, we now have a chance to bundle again. I think it was James Clark of Netscape who said that we spend half our lives unbundling and then half our lives rebundling. So we are in that phase. And this means that all the AI tools now allow you to put things back together in a very effective way. And therefore, we are going back to putting things together to get the full impact of these solutions. Because for the first time, we can now personalize at scale. We can develop things for each person. For a long time in marketing, they talked about market of one, consumer of one. But that's not really worked because you still have. But for the first time, the AI now allows you to personalize at scale. And that's very important to know because it has huge implications if we can develop technology personalized at scale. So therefore, the big thing is we are moving to a world where instead of you adjusting to the technology will adjust to you. Technology will figure out and reason and deal with you and adjust to you as a person, adjust to your skills, adjust to your talents, adjust to your capabilities, adjust to your language skills, and so on and so forth. And that's very important. And we saw many, many examples of that today from Sarvam and many of the other partners here. They showed you how technology is adjusting to you. If you don't know how to type, you can speak. You don't know English, you can speak in Hindi. So basically, technology is adjusting to you instead of you adjusting to technology. And what we have found is whenever we make it easier for technology to adjust to you, our usage goes up, right? In the old days, you had to be literate and know English to use a keyboard. And then the smartphone brought in the touch thing. And touch screen could be used even by somebody who was not literate. They could watch a YouTube and learn how to make some item. I think like Shambhu at a friend Tanuja's house, he makes a lot of dishes he's not literate, but he can see the video and make, paneer korma or whatever. So what that does is that it explodes the usage of technology. And I think Bala mentioned that 500 million people could use things that they couldn't do before. And imagine if everyone, the technology adjusted to them. And it's doable today at 1 rupee per transaction kind of thing. Suddenly you've made it much more accessible, much more, much more profound in the way people can use technology. But the winners will be those to meet people where they are. So you're going to see a huge amount of innovation of the way the AI-enabled user interfaces, which is all going to be completely new, because we didn't have that before. And the good news is there are going to be a lot of people trying, but some people are going to succeed. And those people are those who get it right. But imagine even if a few people get it right, and we can scale it up to 1 billion people, then suddenly the massive inclusion that's going to happen is something that is going to be completely unprecedented. And therefore, we actually, to me, that's the most exciting part of this, that we finally in a position where everyone, no matter their circumstances, no matter their state of literacy, no matter which language they use, can use this technology to get access to anything that can improve their lives. So if they're determined to succeed, they can, because it's in their hands. Now, it is obviously very early days, and we don't know where this will all land. But it's also important to know that the Indian path is a slightly different path. We are not in an arms race to build the next large language model. Let people with, let people who have capital, let people who want to peddle chips do all that stuff. We believe that this is about making a difference and trying out all these things so that AI in the hands of people can make a better difference. But it's important to do it because this is a game of experience. We are not going to know what works or doesn't work till we try it out. There's no shortcuts. It's not theoretical. So experimentation at scale by startups, by NGOs, by the government, all that is required. And you saw many examples of that today, examples of Vistar for agriculture, or the Kisan E-Mitra, or the judicial. So everybody in the government, in the private sector, everybody is experimenting. And that experimentation actually will mean that we will quickly go up in terms of adoption and applications, because we're going to constantly learn from this experience. We can't wait for perfection. Nor do we have to wait for the next 10 trillion model. Irrelevant. If somebody wants to build a 10 trillion model and do AGI and all that, they're most welcome. But we believe the technology which is there today is more than adequate for us to solve the challenges for 1 billion people and to put it in their hands in a way that they never saw before. But people still realize that we need responsible AI. And we can't really wait for regulations to come. We as practitioners must do our AI responsibly. So just like doctors have a Hippocratic oath which gives you a certain expectation of how they will deliver responsible medical practices, we have to think of our thing, and that's what we're doing here with the AI promise, which is AI firms delivering products and services will sign up for a promise, their AI version of the Hippocratic oath, so that we know that they're committed to delivering responsible AI. This is very important for us to practice as an industry. And of course, we also saw that it's not just about a leaderboard in some website in America. We have to create leaderboards and tests for our local models and show that they are improving. So again, it's creating the infrastructure that we have here. So all these things we're talking about, AI promise, the GEM, the open cloud compute, are all essentially building blocks. And then on top of that, if you use a methodology of building DPI for AI, building digital public goods with AI, and then using DPI to the power of AI to amplify it, you will really get a massive change in the way things happen. Now, what is the advantage? Our advantage right now is not, compute or cloud or whatever, or chips. Our advantage is our population and their aspirations. In other words, our population means you have to build population scale. You have to build it frugally, which is why we have to bring down the cost of inference from 100 rupees to 1 rupee. And that's what all the innovators in this room will do. They will do things innovate frugally to dramatically reduce the cost of AI. And that we will actually lead in the frugal innovation to deploy AI, because there's no other way it's going to work. We can't deliver it to 1 billion people unless we can bring it to 1 rupee a transaction. And the other advantage is the aspiration. The aspiration of people will drive adoption. All the surveys are showing that countries like India are much more positive towards AI than the Western countries, because they're worried about all this. And a lot of these doomsday prophets are essentially protectionists who don't want to allow other people to build models. They only want to make all the money for themselves. So that's not the way it's going to be here. We're going to open it up. So I think the aspirations of people will drive demand. The belief that, because one thing we have learned in India is that if you build great technology which is useful to people, they will adopt it. We have seen that time and time and time again in the last 15 years. The same thing will happen here. If we can take advantage of a population to build frugal innovation, and if we can leverage the fact that people have aspirations and give them solutions that make a difference to their lives, you're going to have an explosion. And that's why we think that Adbhut India is really about becoming the AI use capital of the world. All the users will be here, and the experience we'll gain from the users will further inform us on how to do things better. So we are just at the beginning of this journey of transformation, and I can't wait for it in the coming years. So there's lots of change coming. Thank you very much.